Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Monday, May 1st, 2023. Good morning. I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with the news that AEW Rampage will be aired outside of its scheduled time slot for the 5th consecutive week, as its scheduled May 12th airing has been shifted to Saturday, May 13th at 10 p.m. Traditionally scheduled on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, the nomadic nature of Rampage over the last month is due to the TNT network's coverage of both the National Basketball Association and National Hockey League playoffs. TNT's coverage of the NBA playoffs concludes in late May with the culmination of the Eastern Conference Finals. TNT's coverage of the National Hockey League will continue into June, when it becomes the first cable channel since ESPN and the MSG network in 1994 to air the entirety of the Stanley Cup Finals. Beginning this fall, NHL coverage leaves Turner Broadcasting for ESPN and Fox Sports. Turning to Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling has announced the addition of All Elite Wrestling's Jon Moxley to the company's NJPW Strong Resurgence show coming up on May 21st in Long Beach, California. No opponent for Moxley has been named as of yet. It marks the first appearance for Moxley in New Japan since last October's The Night Before Rumble on 44th Street in Manhattan. Also announced for the show thus far is Hiroshi Tanahashi against Will Ospreay in a United States Championship Eliminator, and a 4-woman one-night tournament to decide the first NJPW Strong Women's Champion, which features Mercedes Moné, CMLL's Stephanie Vaquer, AEW's Willow Nightingale, and Stardom's Momo Kogo. Half of the All Japan Champions Carnival final was set on Sunday as Shotaro Ashino defeated Shuji Ishikawa in Osaka to advance to the final match on May 7th. Ashino defeated Ishikawa in the main event at Osaka Edion Arena No. 2 to clinch Block B, finishing with 10 points, 2 ahead of Ishikawa, Suwama, and Rei Saito. Suwama and Saito had eliminated each other in the bout prior when they brawled to a double countout. Ashino now faces the winner of Block A, which will be decided this coming Thursday, May 4th at Korakuen Hall. Kento Miyahara, Ryuki Honda, and T-Hawk are currently tied for the lead with 8 points. The finals take place Sunday, May 7th at the Oda City General Gymnasium. Now with some Impact Wrestling news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
WWE's Tamina was backstage at Saturday night's Impact TV taping in Chicago's Cicero Stadium, according to a PW Insider report. The reported reason for her being there was to support Trinity Fatu, the former Naomi of WWE, who made her in-ring debut for Impact at the tapings. As previously reported, also present for the taping was CM Punk, who is still under contract to AEW. Also present to support Trinity was Mercedes Moné, who is currently under contract to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Moné, still known at the time as Sasha Banks, walked out of WWE along with Trinity Fatu in May of last year, giving up their WWE Women's Tag Team title in the process. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In injury news, Axel Tischer will be undergoing surgery for a broken collarbone suffered on Friday during a Progress show in Manchester, England. Known as Alexander Wolf in WWE and NXT as part of the Sanity stable, Tischer was injured during the main event of Friday's Progress 152 for the Love of Progress show held at Manchester's BEC Arena. He teamed with Big Damo, Chuck Mambo, and TK Cooper in a losing effort against Bullet, Charlie Sterling, Nick Riley, and Spike Trivet. The German-based promotion WXW tweeted the announcement on Sunday, noting that Tischer will miss upcoming bookings for the company in May and June. Turning to Mexico, Dulce Gardenia, Espirito Negro, and Rey Cometa defended the Mexican National Trios title on Sunday against Magia Blanca, Magnus, and Regito during Sunday's CMLL show at Arena Puebla. It was their 5th defense of the Mexican National Trios title and their first since last December 5th. The bout was a rematch of the May 27, 2022 tournament final to crown new champions. In addition to Puebla, CMLL also ran shows in Guadalajara and their home building of Arena Mexico on Sunday. At Arena Mexico, the company celebrated the country's annual observance of April 30th as Children's Day in Mexico. The show featured a match which saw Volcano defeat Akuma to become the CMLL Children's Ambassador. IWRG also ran its weekly Sunday show at Arena Naclopan, which saw Puma de Oro defeat Cerebro Negro Jr. to retain the IWRG Intercontinental Middleweight title. Puma de Oro has held the title since October 30th, 2022, and last night was his second listed title defense, according to Cage Match. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.